Hello, class. Here we are, Mr. Hostetter with his two children. Say hi, children.
Hi.
What are your names?
Miles
And
Lydia.
Lydia. All right, we're here Saturday out at the Wakarusa Elementary School, and we are planning on launching a rocket here. It's a test run for our class. Okay? I'm going to describe the day here a little bit. It's a little bit of a windy day, which is okay because we're out kind of in the middle of nowhere here, which is just fine. I'm going to show you the rocket here is on the launch pad. Everything is hooked up. We have the engine in, the igniters are in, and we have it all hooked up to the launch pad. And we are going to launch this rocket. All right, now we don't know if this rocket will be a success or not. That's the thing about rockets, is you never know what's going to go right, what's going to go wrong. There's a parachute in there that we're hoping will deploy. We hope this launches properly. So, I've got my finger on the safety button here. Miles is going to be our button pusher, but he's not going to push it until I tell him to. So Miles, come over here. The button is right here, buddy. You see it? Don't push it yet. When you push it, we're gonna count down, and when we get to 0, you hold on to that button really hard, okay? All right. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch! All right! So what did you think went right and what went wrong with that rocket launch? There's a couple things I wish would have gone better. I'm going to pause the video right here and see if you can decide what it was. Okay, the things that I thought didn't go real well is it wasn't in the air very long. It wasn't airborne long enough. I know why, because I only used one piece of wadding. And the wadding, what it does is it keeps the top, the nozzle part, from flying off. Once that nozzle flies off, your rocket's not going to fly anymore. So what I would do to fix that is maybe put a couple more pieces of wadding down there. Maybe it would last a little bit longer. However, if you put too much wadding in and the pressure builds up, your rocket can kind of blow too. We don't want that to happen. The other thing is, I don't know if you could tell, but the parachute didn't deploy like I wanted it to. So those would have been a couple things I would have fixed. Anyway, your rocket is going to look something like this. It's a simpler rocket. And the thing I like about these simple rockets is we'll get a lot of different kinds of flights. I don't know if you can see these fins on here, but I mean, there's one thing right there. If your fins aren't straight, if they're crooked or things like that, it's going to fly differently. And that's what I like about these, because we're experimenting. We're going to get a lot of different variables. We're going to get things happening that are just going to be different. We're going to have successes. We're going to have failures. This rocket is almost good to go. We need to pop an engine and a plug in there, and we need to put a fuse in there so we can hook it up to the launch pad. But yours will look something like this. We're going to plan to paint them. I haven't painted this one yet. So today, you're going to get a pack like this. This has got all the tools you'll need, every part I should say you'll need for your rocket. First thing we want you to do is we want you to put your name on the bag. So we'll keep our spare pieces in there. We will not get this put together in one day. The other thing you're going to need is glue. We're going to use a couple different kinds of glue. That's going to be one of the variables in our experiment. You're going to need a ruler. You're going to need scissors. And at some point you're going to need some clear tape. You'll definitely need a pencil to do some marking. So please make sure you have all those things. Have fun. Keep track of all these parts. And then we won't lose any. Good luck. Have fun. All right, class. So I have opened my plastic baggie and I've dumped out all my materials. I've got, this is kind of my largest part there, the longest part of the rocket we will work with the most. I've also got my instructions just like you do. So we're going to follow this step by step. Read directions carefully, watch the video carefully, and you should be just fine. get your fins and some other things just perfectly on there. So once you've cut it out, you want to roll it on as tight as you can, like this. This is how my lines should line up there. And then I'll come around and give you a piece of clear tape to tape it on. Then what you want to do is just next to each line as it comes out, just mark a small line right there at the end of that line, each line. And then we need to extend those lines. The instructions say to use the corner on a door frame. I think that's what we'll do. So once you've got it wrapped around like this, we'll put your clear tape on, mark your lines, and then we'll use the door to extend. Look right here, this dot right there, that is 3/8 of an inch from the bottom, and that is where you're going to want to glue the bottom of your fin. So after you've marked out 3/8 of an inch, this bottom part of your fin should line up perfectly on that corner, and I'll show you in a minute. It'll be the most painful part of the putting it together here is gluing these fins on, because you're going to have to hold them until the glue's dried, or they'll just fall off. So I've been battling this one for a little while here. I don't think it's totally dry, but I've got it propped up perfectly straight up and down, so hopefully it's going to dry out here, but it's going to take time. You'll have to take turns holding it down. You have to be real gentle with them too. Good luck. Take your time. Try and get those fins as straight as possible, but you can kind of see from mine they aren't perfectly straight. We'll do our best. This is what I like about the cheap rockets, is things won't be perfect, which means our flights will all be a little bit different. That's the part I really like about it. 2 inches up from that mark you made, you'll glue on this tube. This is what we'll put through our launch pad that'll hold the rocket on the launch pad. So you'll measure with your ruler 2 inches up. That's where the bottom should go. And in your tube there, we're going to push it probably with a pen or a pencil up until it gets right at the bottom of this other tube there. So this will go on the inside. So I'm going to use this pen. I'm going to put glue around this, and I'm going to push it up until it hits right at the end of that tube on the outside. The bottom, just a little bit. It's going to hold. Should have showed that on the camera. It's going to hang out the bottom just a little bit. It should go all the way up and touch that spacer. So it's going to hold out just a little bit. It's going to hold our engine in there. So we want to make sure that's glued in really good. All right, we are almost done. What we're going to do now, we're going to glue our ripcord in there. We're going to glue that end on. We're supposed to measure down here from the very top about 1.5 inches, and that's about where we'll glue the paper part. And then we'll put the rocket on its side, and we'll glue on this kind of recovery tag. And then we will tie our end to our nozzle and be pretty much done. Tie this on to my end here. I'm gonna probably knot it twice. So once that's on, then I'll find about the middle of the ripcord, and just with some tape, we'll tape that down and we'll roll it up. But before we roll it up and put that on, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a couple sheets of recovery wadding. It looks like Kleenex. I can't find where I put it right now, but so when you're ready for that step, before we put it all in together, we'll go ahead and put your wadding in there, and we'll talk about what that's for.